Ugly. It was ugly, y'all. It continues to get worse and worse for the Chicago Sky. Jesus, they were down 30 at home.
It'd be a normal day if you didn't hear some silly crap come out of the mouth of Angel Reese, and that's recently what she did when she made some comments about her team.
Angel Reese just found out the hard way being that girl doesn't work when your own team's driving the bus, and you're the speed bump. Chicago Sky just hit reverse, and guess who's flat on the pavement? Spoiler, it's not Caitlin Clark. Is this karma, chaos, or just another episode of When Stat Sheets Attack? Buckle up, because this meltdown has more drama than a reality show reunion and way fewer rebounds. Let's get into the madness.
Fourth or fifth time they've been down by 30 in a game. They just end up, the other team just ends up taking their players out at the end of the game, and then they'll only end up losing by like 21, 22. They be down 30 over and over and over. Like, oh my God, this team is garbage. Golly. Man, Angel Reese with a triple single, 9 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. She was a minus 25. She was 1 for 1 from the field, and it was a 3-pointer. She shot 100% from the field. She made it 3.
The WNBA circus continues, and guess who's back at center stage? Angel Reese, desperately trying to act like she belongs there, while reality keeps reminding her she's barely in the frame. Let's not sugarcoat this. On any other team, in any other universe, she'd be riding the bench so hard she'd leave a permanent dent in it.
To the press that he is actually very disappointed in the Chicago Sky in our performance as it pertains to our current WNBA performance in the 2025 season. Allow me to read to you a little article by Suntime, chicago.suntimes.com, titled Sky GM's Jeff Pagliacca is very disappointed by the bad start and is hopeful for turnaround. The Sky believed they were ready to compete for a playoff spot this season with a team that could give anybody in the WNBA a fight. There's no sugarcoating how sideways things have gone. They sputtered early, then lost veteran point guard Courtney Vandersloot to a torn interior circulate ligament or ACL Saturday night. They're near the bottom of the league both offensively and defensively after loading up on veterans in the offseason.
But not in Chicago. Oh no. In Chicago, they've apparently decided that vibes are more important than stats, hustle, or, basketball skill. And here's the kicker, Reese still walks around like she's the main character, even though her stat line reads more like a background extra. We're talking brick city, turnover central, and the kind of coordination that makes baby giraffes look graceful.
They be down 30 over and over and over. Like, oh my God, this team is garbage. Golly. Man, Angel Reese with a triple single, 9 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. She was a minus 25. She was 1 for 1 from the field, and it was a 3-pointer. She shot 100% from the field. She made it 3, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 9 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Terrible game.
She can't shoot, she can't dribble, and when she tries to defend, it's like watching someone play tag in slow motion. The only consistent thing about her game is the confusion she brings to the floor. Is she playing basketball or trying to summon chaos? Jury's still out. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here putting on nightly clinics, like it's her own personal masterclass. She's dissecting defenses, dropping dimes, raining threes from another zip code, and doing it all while carrying the weight of the entire league's expectations.
And basically said that her team wasn't any good. Yeah, that's basically what she said, is that her team wasn't any good. And it's rather amusing to listen to, but if I didn't play it for you, you wouldn't believe it. But yeah, this is Angel Reese again, running her mouth and saying some stuff that you probably shouldn't say about your own team, but that's what she does.
Clark's not just a star. She's the GPS system the WNBA didn't know it needed, navigating the league back into national relevance. And then you've got Reese, fumbling around like someone just handed her a basketball for the first time at a family BBQ. You'd think Coach Tyler Marsh, or as he's affectionately known in increasingly frustrated circles, the optimist-in-chief, would have picked up on this, but nope. He's still out here pretending that Angel Reese is a foundational piece, not the walking turnover machine she truly is. If this is his vision for the team, someone better schedule his eye exam immediately. Because this isn't leadership. This is delusion with a whistle. Every time Reese checks in, it's like Chicago Sky is playing 4-on-6. She gets the ball, and suddenly the offense stalls, like a car on an icy hill. There's hesitation, there's panic, and then there's that signature flailing drive to the basket where the ball ends up 5 rows deep in the bleachers. She's become the human embodiment of a shot clock violation. The scoreboard weeps, and yet somehow she still gets minutes. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a missed layup. What makes it worse, yes, there's always worse, is that the coach keeps doubling down. He's out there in pressers clinging to phrases like development and potential, like Reese is some kind of unicorn project. Spoiler alert, if the potential involves learning how to box out without fouling or completing a simple pick and roll without accidentally screening her own teammate, we might be here for a while.
You know what I'm going to call this? I'm going to call this the curse of Dave Portnoy. Barstool Sports El Presidente. He went on a rant about that Ryan Clark stuff, and he said all he had to say about Angel Reese and Ryan Clark and that whole mess. And I will say this, his rant cursed Angel Reese because she proceeded to have the absolute worst game of her life.
Possibly until Caitlin Clark retires with 14 MVPs and Reese finally discovers gravity. And the locker room? Let's just say it's not exactly a Broadway musical of team spirit. Players are side-eyeing, fans are tweeting like their lives depend on it, and you can practically hear the front office muttering, "We made how many mistakes again?" through gritted teeth. Even the Gatorade cooler's looking uncomfortable. At this point, Angel Reese has become the basketball version of a plot twist that no one asked for. She's the subplot you fast-forward through, the feature nobody remembers, and somehow still the name on everyone's lips. Mostly because everyone's wondering how she keeps getting playing time like it's being handed out with cereal box tokens. Now toss in Coach Marsh, whose job security is hanging by a thread that's fraying with every loss. His unwavering belief in Reese is starting to feel less like mentorship and more like sabotage. It's like watching someone double down in blackjack after being dealt 2 twos. There's hope, and then there's just reckless optimism. And Chicago's bench is starting to whisper the difference louder with every L that stacks up on the season. And here's a reality check. If your entire coaching philosophy hinges on a player who can't reliably finish a layup, then it's time to rethink the philosophy.
Talking about Chicago Sky coach sends strong Angel Reese message after loss to Indiana Fever, right? So let's read what it says here. Chicago's loss to the Fever forced them to 2-5 on the season. They were finally gaining traction, winning back-to-back games against the Dallas Wings before they faced off against the Fever. After the loss to Indiana, Chicago Sky head coach Tyler Marsh responded to a question on Angel Reese's struggles, finishing the game against the Fever with 4 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. Marsh mentioned that he doesn't believe Reese struggled to make an impact against the Fever despite shooting 28.6% from the field.
Reese's highlight reel looks more like a blooper reel. Missed putbacks, travels that only Stevie Wonder could miss, and defensive lapses so egregious, the mascot is considering subbing in. If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of rim clangs echoing through the United Center every time she touches the ball. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's over in Indiana, basically teaching master classes in court vision and shot mechanic. She's slicing through defenses like a hot knife through butter. While Reese is over in Chicago trying to butter toast with a sledgehammer. And yet, the comparisons persist, as if being loud on social media somehow makes up for being silent on the scoreboard. The stark contrast is almost cruel. One is revolutionizing how the game is played. The other is revolutionizing how far you can fall and still get minutes. Clark's got fans showing up in droves, jerseys flying off shelves, and broadcasters barely keeping up with her highlight reel. Reese? She's got memes, missed rebounds, and more fouls than fast breaks. It's starting to feel like her game plan is just run into someone and hope something good happens. Pro tip, it doesn't. And if you're wondering where the accountability is, join the club. Because Chicago's coaching staff is acting like they're managing a daycare instead of a pro basketball team. No benching, no tough love, just endless second chances wrapped in motivational quotes and post-game excuses. If Reese ever gets held to the same standard as her peers, it'll be a Christmas miracle.
What do y'all want from me? What do you guys want me to say? Chicago Sky fans, WNBA fans, the Chicago Sky lost to the Phoenix Mercury 107-86. Mercury scored their season high in points against the Sky. It appears to be a trend. It was courtside, so I got a chance to see the action up close. I'll tell you guys about that in my next video. Unfortunately, it looks like the Sky are up a creek without a paddle, and I don't know how they're about to swim out. Let's talk about it. The Chicago Sky are 3-9 for the season, and it's no secret. Tyler knows it. Everyone knows it. This is bad.
Even the fans, once hypnotized by hype and hashtags, are waking up. They've watched this movie long enough to know how it ends. And let's be honest, the only thing Angel Reese is dominating right now is the post-game spin cycle. It's all about narratives, distractions, and pointing fingers everywhere except at the stat sheet. But you can't fake tape. You can't excuse airballs, and eventually, even the most forgiving front office has to start asking hard questions, like why are we still pretending this is working? Meanwhile, loyalty is admirable. Blind loyalty? That's career suicide with a clipboard. And right now, she's staring down a season so derailed it's practically turned into a sightseeing tour of disappointment. What's worse is how Reese's mere presence warps the energy on the floor. Teammates hesitate. Spacing collapses. It's like everyone knows they have to babysit her minutes instead of focusing on the actual game plan. You can't run a smooth offense when half the roster is secretly praying she doesn't touch the ball. Every possession becomes a gamble, and more often than not, it ends in disaster. Caitlin Clark, by contrast, has elevated everyone around her. The pace, the execution, the belief, everything ticks up when she's on the court. She's a multiplier. Reese is a drain. You can feel it in the rhythm of the game. One gives you flow, the other gives you face palms.
Now I just realized something I should have put in my last post, man. Since the Angel Reese Dick Riders and Glazers want to try to get on Clark for her performance versus the Valkyries yesterday. So yeah, Clark didn't have a good game, but didn't y'all just celebrate this the other day and threw a party and had a Black Clan rally and invited the Black Clan panderers over to mingle and everything and was doing cartwheels and backflips? But then when Clark gets 11 points, now she's getting ridiculed by the Dick Riders and Glazers of the bricklaying slope. So basically what you're saying is that a Caitlin Clark bad game is equivalent to an Angel Reese good game?
Yet somehow it's Reese who keeps getting the endorsement deals and camera time, while Clark just keeps dropping 30-point masterclasses and walking off without a fuss. If this is the future of women's basketball, someone needs to hit the reset button, because the league has one of the most generational talents it's ever seen in Caitlin Clark, and it's still wasting airtime trying to convince us that Angel Reese is more than a glorified rebounder with bad hands and worse footwork. Chicago needs answers. Fast. And if they don't start by trimming minutes from their resident chaos agent and reevaluating their sideline strategy, they might as well start planning their off-season vacation early. Because right now, the only thing the Sky are good at is free-falling. And Angel Reese is the deadweight they refuse to let go. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get more ridiculous, enter Angel Reese's real obsession. Not basketball, not improvement, not even pretending to play defense. No, her heart belongs to social media. Fashion shows, Instagram poses, curated fits, and filtered selfies that scream, "Look at me," louder than her stat line ever could. She's out here chasing influencer clout like it's a full-time job, while actual basketball responsibilities collect dust like trophies in a locked cabinet she doesn't have the key to.
When the Indiana Fever scored 33 points and a half, I was disappointed. And I can't imagine how disappointed Chicago Sky fans are after their team scores a measly 31 points in the second half. The Atlanta Dream beat the Chicago Sky 88-70 behind Ryan Howard's beast of a game. 36 points, 12 for 25, nearly 50%, 9 for 19 from the three-point line. Ryan Howard shooting 9.
Every pregame outfit is a runway audition. Every post is a declaration of style over substance. And while she's too busy tagging luxury brands and dropping hashtags like confetti, her actual game looks like it's sponsored by missed opportunities and questionable effort. You'd think someone who struts into the arena like Naomi Campbell would at least try to strut down the court with the ball once or twice without losing control of it, but no. Basketball has become a backdrop, a side hustle, to her fashion influencer dreams. Chicago Sky? They didn't draft a player. They drafted a billboard, a walking PR machine that occasionally puts on a jersey and pretends to care for 15 minutes a night before sprinting back to the locker room to refresh her feed and check likes. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is out there doing actual work, hustling, grinding, desperately trying to cover for the human highlight blooper that is Reese's on-court presence. It's like watching someone bring glitter to a construction site. Pretty? Sure. Useful? Not even close. And make no mistake, the locker room feels it. The chemistry? Gone. The trust? Missing. It's hard to build unity when one of your supposed stars is more focused on being a TikTok queen than a WNBA contributor. Every time she steps onto the hardwood, the vibes tank. It's like someone hits mute on teamwork and playmaking and turns up the volume on chaos. She's not just dragging her own game down, she's pulling the whole franchise into the mud with her.
Angel Reese got completely exposed today, man. Y'all see how she only took one shot today versus the Mercury and only had 2 rebounds? This goes to show she can't get all those rebounds without taking hella shots, getting her own misses, man. You've been completely exposed today, bricklaying sloth. Completely. When you ain't taking all these shots and missing all these goddamn layups and shit, you can't get your rebounds. So your rebounds...
The stats are brutal, but the body language is even worse. Slumped shoulders, lazy closeouts, jogging back on defense like it's a charity walk. Her highlight reel could double as a warning video on what not to do in crunch time. And somehow, she walks into every post-game media session with the confidence of someone who just dropped 40, when in reality she barely managed 4. You almost have to admire the delusion. It's Olympic level. Chicago, bless their hearts, probably thought they were getting a gritty competitor. What they got was a walking distraction with a Wi-Fi connection. Her teammates are pulling double shifts, trying to hold the line while she posts courtside selfies with captions about grind season. If that grind includes clanking layups and defending like she's allergic to effort, then sure, mission accomplished. And what's truly astonishing is how she's managed to convince half of social media that this is all part of the plan, that the missed rebounds, the bricks, the turnovers, the general aura of confusion, that it's just a phase. Newsflash: if your phase lasts an entire season, it's not a phase. It's a feature. She's become a master of optics, smoke and mirrors, repackaging mediocrity as misunderstood greatness, while everyone else is too stunned by the glitter to realize they're being conned.
First of all, this game was scheduled on purpose because the league has 2 goals. One is to get Caitlin Clark a championship, and 2, to get Caitlin Clark to be the MVP of the league. And they want this on a repeated basis because they realize it brings in the most clicks and the most views and the most this and the most that. Screw the other players, screw the other great players. They don't care. They don't care. See, the thing with Asia Wilson is she plays basketball. The thing with Nafisa Collier, she plays basketball. Breonna Stewart, Jacqueline Jones. I can go on and on and on. These players play basketball. They get out there and play their basketball. But the long story short is the league is not invested not one single bit in making the rules fair for everybody to become MVPs.
Meanwhile, the real hoopers in that locker room are exhausted. Carrying the weight of one player is tough. Carrying the weight of one who thinks she's above critique? Nearly impossible. The team's playing 4D chess while she's out here coloring outside the lines with a crayon. And it's not just about points, it's about energy, awareness, presence. Things that can't be taught in a brand deal or a photo shoot. Things she clearly isn't interested in mastering. Chicago got robbed. They didn't just get the short end of the stick. They got the whole stick snapped over their heads while smiling for a group picture. They're fielding a player who shows up for the cameras and disappears when it's time to contribute. You can't build a winning culture on filters and captions. And right now, Reese is less of a foundation and more of a sinkhole that everyone keeps falling into. Even the fans are catching on. The applause has turned to side eyes. The excitement to eye rolls. The novelty wore off quicker than her shooting percentage. And now the only thing consistent about her game is how little of it shows up. She's become a punchline on highlight reels she's not even featured in. A mascot without the charm. A storyline with no substance.
I do not know how many more times it can be shouted from the rooftops. Fire Jeff Palagoka entire marsh before the clock strikes midnight. I turned the game on to see that this man Tyler Marsh emptied the whole bench midway through the third quarter. I saw an 8-point deficit go to 10, 10 go to 20, 20 go to 30, 30 push to damn near 40. This type of incompetence cannot, that can't be rewarded with a paycheck anymore. It's time to let that man go. Same thing with Jeff. That kind of incompetence cannot be rewarded with a paycheck.
And it's sad, really, because somewhere beneath the gloss and ego, there might have been potential. But that potential is buried under 10 layers of selfies and denial. Instead of digging deep, she's digging into her wardrobe. Instead of watching film, she's editing reels. Instead of stepping up, she's stepping out. For red carpets, not rebounds. She doesn't belong in a professional league, and that's not an insult. It's an observation based on months of evidence. Pro basketball is for people who bleed for the game, who sacrifice for the team, who grind in silence and let their play speak volumes. Reese's game is whispering at best and mumbling most nights. She's treating this like a promotional tour while her team is begging for someone who actually gives a damn. And the longer this charade continues, the worse it gets. Not just for her, but for the franchise that staked their hopes on her hype. She's not growing. She's not adapting. She's not even pretending anymore. She's just there. If you enjoy leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.